Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has expressed deep concern over former US President Donald Trump's plan to meet with Russian President Vladimir Putin. Zelensky sees the meeting as a dangerous move that could sideline Ukraine in crucial peace negotiations. He fears a deal struck without Ukraine's involvement would be detrimental to his country's future. Zelensky emphasized that any discussion about ending the war must include Ukraine at the table. Zelensky has repeatedly called for direct negotiations with Putin, but his efforts have been met with resistance. Putin has shown little interest in treating Ukraine as an equal partner in peace talks. Instead, he seems to prefer dealing with the US directly, aiming for a deal that might satisfy Russia's interests without fully addressing Ukraine's concerns. Zelensky's warning highlights the complexities of the situation in Ukraine. He's caught between a desire for peace and a determination to protect his nation's sovereignty. A peace deal that ignores Ukraine's needs would be seen as a betrayal by Zelensky and many Ukrainians. It could also embolden Putin and undermine the international community's commitment to upholding international law. Former US President Donald Trump has defended his decision to meet with Putin. He claims that he can bring a swift end to the conflict in Ukraine through direct negotiations with the Russian leader. Trump has touted his past relationship with Putin as evidence of his ability to strike deals. He has also criticized the current US administration's handling of the war, arguing that his approach would be more effective. Trump has been vague about the specifics of his plan, but suggested that it might involve concessions from both sides. This has raised concerns among some observers who fear that Trump might be willing to pressure Ukraine into accepting unfavorable terms for the sake of a deal. Trump's approach to the Ukraine conflict reflects his broader foreign policy outlook, which emphasizes personal relationships and transactional diplomacy. He believes that he can achieve better outcomes by negotiating directly with adversaries rather than working through multilateral institutions. Whether this approach will be effective in the case of Ukraine remains to be seen. The international community is watching the developments surrounding Trump's proposed meeting with Putin with a mixture of apprehension and skepticism. Some Western leaders have expressed concerns about Trump's intentions and the potential consequences of his actions. They fear that Trump could undermine efforts to hold Russia accountable for its actions in Ukraine and embolden other authoritarian leaders. Others have adopted a more cautious wait-and-see approach. They acknowledge the potential risks of Trump's initiative, but also recognize the need for a diplomatic solution to the conflict. They hope that Trump's involvement could create an opening for meaningful negotiations, but they remain skeptical of his ability to deliver on his promises. The situation in Ukraine has far-reaching implications for the international order. It is a test of the West's resolve in defending the principles of sovereignty and territorial integrity. It also highlights the challenges of dealing with a resurgent Russia willing to use military force to achieve its objectives. The path to peace in Ukraine remains elusive. The conflict has become increasingly intractable, with both sides entrenched in their positions. A lasting solution will require significant concessions from both Russia and Ukraine, as well as the support of the international community. Zelensky's warning about the dangers of excluding Ukraine from peace talks underscores the need for an inclusive approach. Any attempt to impose a settlement on Ukraine without its consent is likely to fail. A sustainable peace agreement must address the legitimate security concerns of both Ukraine and Russia. The international community has a crucial role to play in facilitating a peaceful resolution to the conflict. This includes maintaining pressure on Russia to end its aggression, providing support to Ukraine, and encouraging dialogue between the parties. The stakes are high, as the conflict has the potential to escalate into a wider war with catastrophic consequences.